Hello, this is Greg Allison of Galactic Greg's coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. And I'm here to talk to you tonight on the 28th of January about an announcement made on the 27th of January by NASA to have Axiom Space dock to a node on space station. Essentially, NASA has granted Axiom Space, a commercial venture founded in Houston, access to one of the space station nodes, the International Space Station, for their module. And their module will be called the Axiom segment. The Axiom segment will include a node module of its own. It will include a research and manufacturing module. It will include a crew habitat and a really large windowed facility. Now, this large window module I would be a bit concerned with, because I would hope they would put it on the nadir, earth-facing side of the station, which is less subject to orbital debris, as orbital debris could shatter a window. If a large enough window was to shatter on the International Space Station anywhere, the thrust, think about 14.7 pounds per square inch across several hundred square inches, several thousand square inches, adds up to be a considerable thrust, right enough that could rip the space station apart, quite literally. So we don't want to see that now, do we? So we have to consider the safety of the system, what it is and what it will be, and let's hope they take that in consideration. I'm sure they will, because it just so happens that one of the founders of Axiom Space was this International Space Station program manager for 10 years, Mr. Michael Suffredini. And one of the other founders is, I guess probably the principal founder, is Cam Gaffarian. I hope I didn't murder his name. Michael Suffredini is a name I'm more familiar with. And also, there's several other former astronauts that are members of this team, to include ex-NASA administrator Bolden, yes, who happens to be the first black man to have flown in space, and he's been a NASA administrator for quite a few years, Charlie Bolden. Many of you know him, or know of him. Now, the interesting thing is that with such a astronaut star-spangled crew in the management of the company, it makes it more sure for them to get contracts with NASA. And these people have experience in space, lots of experience, although it does make the cost of the operations a bit high, because these are not cheap individuals, believe you me. So that said, they are also teamed with Bowen, with Alenia, who built the two of the nodes on space station. Node 1 was built by Bowen. Nodes 2 and 3 were built under the nodes program by Alenia. Now, NASA did manage a lot of that, because NASA was a customer for that, and I used to work in the Nodes project office on the International Space Station, and actually did all the layout of the pinouts and wiring and a lot of that for what's flying today in Nodes 2 and 3. So a lot of my design has been flying in space for a couple of decades now, almost. So, all that considered, this is an exciting opportunity in commercial space. Oh yeah, there's two other partners with Axiom, and that includes the Institute of, what is it? That includes Maxar Technologies and the Intuitive Machines. That's it. It had to take me a moment to think. Intuitive Machines. Sometimes I got to walk to think, right? So, Intuitive Machines and Maxar Technologies, these are very new, innovative companies in the world of aerospace. So, they're bringing fresh blood to go with NASA's astronauts with lots of experience. Bowen and Alenia have lots of experience in habitable modules. So this will make for a very interesting prospect. They are participating in what NASA calls the Next Space Technologies for Exploration Partnership, which translates from the acronym of Next Step. And the next step for Next Step, after putting some commercial modules on the International Space Station, is something called a free flyer program. The free flyers are the idea that you detach from the International Space Station. My, how times have changed. Once upon a time, there was a company planning to build something called the International Space Facility, and it was being run by Dick Slayton, among others, who was an astronaut of fame. And they were shut down because it was deemed they would be competition to the International Space Station. They wanted to be a free flyer. It's hard to get microgravity on a station that's got so much stuff going on, much activity, as the International Space Station. A lot of vibrations and stuff. If you really want microgravity, you need a dedicated free-flyer module to optimize that. Preferably probably in a gradient mode maybe. That said, there's already precedence for commercial modules on the International Space Station. As some of you may know, Bigelow Aerospace put the BEAM, the Bigelow Expandable Activity Module, on the International Space Station as a test of their expandable space station technology. And they were angling to get a concept they called the B330 on that same node docking port. They didn't win. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Bigelow has laid off so many people so many times. Hard to say. Yeah, excuse me for my finger here. This is the camera I normally video with, and so I'm a little shakier with it. This is my phone. Should I be using my camcorder instead? Yeah? Okay. But this camera does get better video quality-wise. All that said, Greg, why is that so interesting? Why is that so exciting? Why is that so fascinating? We have a whole new commercial era coming up in space, space research, space manufacturing, astronaut training, with a lower cost of access to space that should be coming up with the new commercial crew alternatives, such as Boeing's Boeing's what might be Calypso, CST-100, and SpaceX's Dragon capsules. Well, the cost I'm expecting for space transportation to go down quite a bit. As we know, SpaceX is innovating new, greater alternatives to bring the cost of going to space down, including their Starship concept. And even if they don't do their Starship, their heavies, especially when they come up with their super heavy booster, will be quite game changing. So even if their super heavy and Starship, the Starship in particular, doesn't pan out, because that is a bridge a long way out, if there is problems with that, it just so happens that we're already on the way now to some interesting space development, space technology, space industrialization, and ultimately space settlement. And in Earth space, this fits better with the models being developed by Jeff Bezos with his Blue Origin team. So Blue Origin may have a special leg up in this area, in this arena. So we have multiple tracks that could take us to space access, lower cost access, space habitation in near space, space operations in near space, greatly expanding what humanity may be doing in space in the near term. That's exciting. So we're not reliant on just one approach. There are many things coming up, many things. And that's what makes space exciting, space in the 2020s. You know, I did a video not too long back where I also talked about tourism in space, how NASA announced tourism opportunities to fly on this. And I had a little fun with that. You know, I started out kind of like a gangster. But, you know, sometimes you got to have a little fun. Space don't have to be all boring. You know, NASA, who would exceed at making space normal, boring? I mean, think about it. NASA, you know, they landed man on the moon. And the most exciting event in the history of mankind, and NASA made it boring. Situation normal. Man has landed. We are here. You know, if I could take NASA meetings and put them in a bottle, man, I can make a fortune on sleep aids, right? Well, all that said, so here we are looking at a whole new opportunity for commercial space at the International Space Station. We have commercial cargo, commercial crew, and now commercial modules, space tourism. Holy smoke, it is huge. It's big. And you too may find the day that perhaps you'll be going here or something like it in other space platforms, free flyers or whatever. There is a whole new world coming up, a whole new world of possibilities. And let's hope that we can survive in humanity to be able to exercise these grand dreams and adventures, that we can have a bold, bright future for humanity. That's what I'm hoping for, what I'm angling for. And I'll be doing many more videos on these topics, so please subscribe. If you've not subscribed, bang the update notification bell. Apologies for being about a week tardy in putting the video up. I'll try to make up for it. I have been exceedingly busy in my day job and my side adventures. So more to come, much more. Thank you for watching.